Hi everyone, I am here today with Julie SOLLER, who is in Oakland, California. Julie, you are the third storytelling show producer that I'm interviewing, and I'm so interested in your process and how you do your show and everything, why you made it happen. So you created Story Slam Oakland, which we can see in your background, in 2012 after The Moth turned you down as a producer.
Yeah.
Story Slam Oakland is a funny and raw true storytelling competition in Oakland, California, whose goal is to make the Bay Area warmer and friendlier. You host about 3 true story open mic shows every month in San Francisco Bay Area, and you also teach workshop and you throw potluck storytelling dinners. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, where should we start? What made you want to create your own show?
To be honest, it was just, I had just moved to Oakland and I was looking for something to do. And I had flamed out of UCLA film school. It took me 8 years to get a master's degree. And I fled Los Angeles and I was like, I'm not going to be a filmmaker. This is not my thing. And storytelling, the reason I like storytelling, live storytelling, is because I need to feel people. I don't want to sit at home and write something and have somebody read it who I never see their reaction. I don't want to be behind the camera and then have to sit and edit for hours and hours and hours. That's what took me 8 years. Yeah. I want to feel your immediate reaction to what I'm saying. And that is what doing live true storytelling is.
So, yeah, you have 3 shows a month. That's a lot. So why 3? Are they different?
Yeah, they are different. So Story Slam Oakland is a slam. It's a competition where there's 10 people and they're picked at random from a hat. Okay. And they all tell stories on a theme that's decided in advance. My other show is called Spontaneous Storytelling. And I invented this thing. I didn't invent the format open mic, but I invented my particular style of an open mic storytelling show where we're in a bar. It's called The Layover in Oakland. And we love The Layover. We've been there for like 6 years. And everybody who comes in to this tiny little bar is there for my show. And I hand every single person a big 8.5 by 11 index card. And it's a grid with 9 questions on it. And the questions are for the people to ask each other. So they're very personal questions, and they're sometimes silly, and they're sometimes sexy, and they're sometimes flirty. And they're to get everybody in the room meeting and mingling and chatting with each other. And then after a half hour of that, I start the open mic storytelling. You put your name in the hat. But instead of having a theme, I stand on stage with my co-host. Actually, I have a co-host now that I need to mention.
Yeah.
His name is Inanç.
Okay.
And he is from Turkey, and he's a kite surfer and a comedian and a storyteller. And oh my God, we should have him on your show. He's hilarious and wonderful. Anyway, he's been co-hosting with me for the last, half a year. So anyway, we ask, I guess it's me. I ask the audience, the entire audience, for stories that they want to hear or stories that they could tell. Oh, and another thing that makes my show so amazing and fun and awesome is that every venue gives me 10 free drink tickets to give away to the storytellers.
That's awesome.
So, and I tell people, it doesn't even have to be a good story. You still win a free drink ticket.
Yeah. Okay, so you ask people what kind of stories they would like to hear, and then people
and then I write them down on a board. So we write down all of these audience suggestions, kind of like the way an improv show would get suggestions from the audience. Okay. So we write them all down, and then people get up there and they're holding the mic and they're looking at the list and they're like, well, my story has to do with first dates and disappointment and sex and getting lost. And, you know, then they just tell a true story. And what's amazing is how ordinary people are these fabulous storytellers. It's so heartwarming, and I miss it so much.
I can't imagine.
I miss doing my show.
Yeah. So today is March 26th of 2020. So how long have you been in confinement?
I have been, you know, the day after I did my spontaneous storytelling show in San Francisco at Slate Bar in the Mission District of San Francisco.
Yeah.
The very next day, we were all recommended to not have any more gatherings. And then the next Monday, we're all told to shelter in place on the 16th. So
yeah, same with us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's been about 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then normally I would do a show at the end of this month, and then I would do another show the first Saturday of April, and woo.
Yeah.
Woo!
I can help you bring your show online. Just say that.
I might take you up on that. We'll have to get donations to scrape together donations to pay you because I don't have any money either.
Well, you can just get donations on your show, and maybe if you get something, you know, we can talk about it.
Okay, we'll work it out. I'll pay you in weed.
Okay. if Canada Post still works. Well, so it's open mics. So you never really vet the stories before your shows, do you?
So for my story slam, we have ballots, and so somebody has to count all the ballots, and while the ballots are being counted, we have like 5 minutes to put up a featured storyteller. And so that is someone I've selected in advance who is a very good storyteller who has won my show before, or they've won someone else's storytelling show.
Right.
And so that's the only vetted story. And it's true, sometimes we get some stories with some very wacky points of view that we do not espouse, but that is part of the joy and risk of doing this. Is you're not in control. You're not in control.
Yeah. So have you been talking to the storytellers the last few days over the internet, or like calling, or your co-host, like what's everyone up to when we don't have storytelling shows?
Well,
at least
I'm going to be involved in your show, of course, and then a couple of comic / storytellers in California are going to do a YouTube channel, and they invited me to host the storytelling show on their YouTube channel. So I'm very excited about that. It's called 6 Feet Apart Productions.
Nice.
6 Feet Apart Productions. So that's going to be on YouTube, and I'm going to host a storytelling show and maybe tell a story at another show. And then a good friend of mine who's a very funny storyteller, he and I are just starting to put together a storytelling podcast. So there's things that are happening, but like I so live for the in-person thing that this whole like computer screen technology is so hard for me.
Yeah. You can't feel my energy.
I do feel your energy. And I have to say, Brune, this is the happiest that I've been in days.
Aw, I'm so glad.
Yeah, depression is a big thing among creative people when they are denied their creative outlet. So
yeah,
it's no joke.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about a hard subject, which is money in the art?
Sure. We talk about money.
or lack thereof.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like there is some shame about making money when you do any kind of art, actually. And so for us, performance arts, I guess we could call it that. And so I'm interested in how producers charge, how you work. Do you have a team? all of that?
Right. So when I started my show, it was free, and I did it in a bakery, and the bakery didn't charge me. They were just happy to have people come in and buy food and drink. So it was a nice trade-off. I got to do my show and kind of cut my teeth on how to be a show host and how to make this thing happen. And then after doing it for 4 years, which is a bit long, and when my bakery was consistently packed full of people, no more people could fit in, there were no more chairs, people were lining the walls.
Yeah.
Then I thought, I'll charge $5.
Yeah.
And that didn't turn anybody away. People were happy to pay $5. And so after a year of charging $5, I went to a sliding scale, 5 to 20, whatever you want to pay.
How is that?
I mean, at the time I wasn't trying to make a lot of money. I was just having fun with my show.
Yeah. But are people happy to pay more than $5?
Yeah, some people did. Absolutely. Yeah. Some people did, but it wasn't lucrative by any stretch. And then when I moved to a bigger venue, I started moving my show to Brown Paper Tickets, which is a Canadian company that I really like, except for one thing. They don't have an app. So Brown Paper Tickets is a great way to sell tickets.
Okay.
But it's hard. Eventbrite has a bigger reach. More people use Eventbrite, the app.
Yeah. Even
though the fee is higher. Anyway, so I started selling tickets on Eventbrite, and then I would also hold a few seats at the door. And then the shows would always get full. So there were no more seats left. And so whenever the show would get really full, I would consider raising the ticket price a tiny little bit, like $1 for the next show. And there's something really nice about a low ticket price for a true live storytelling show. Like I wanted it to be $10. $10 feels good to pay $10. Yeah. And if you're sitting at a table because you're eating dinner, you get a reserved table, you could pay $15. But now my tickets are a little bit more than that. And people are still willing to pay $12. Just, and I feel like if people appreciate what I'm doing and the service I'm providing,
definitely,
then and it's the San Francisco Bay Area, which is one of the richest places in the country. I don't know if you could pull off a $12 ticket price in, Missouri. Sorry, Missouri, but I don't know.
No, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So you have a co-host now.
Yeah.
And does anyone else work with you?
Oh yeah, I could not do Story Slam Oakland without a whole bunch of volunteers, a couple of volunteers at the door to collect tickets and check off people who come in, a sound volunteer who helps with the sound, some setup volunteers who help set up the room, the people who pass out the ballots, because at my show, unlike The Moth, at my show, every single person in the audience gets a ballot and gets to vote for their favorite storytellers. So we need to have somebody to pass out the ballots, collect the ballots, count the ballots, and then give me the winners that I can announce. So there's a lot of production that goes into my show.
Yeah. Do you have a prize for the winners, or it's just like amazing to be the winner?
So this fabulous t-shirt designed by Oaklandish,
nice.
Story Slam Oakland, they all get a t-shirt if they win. And I just started doing a grand slam once a year where the 10 winners
I wanted to ask you
from the previous year are invited to tell a story at a curated grand slam. And it's going to be, cross our fingers that we'll be back in business by September. If we are, it's going to be at the Uptown Club in Oakland in September, the grand slam. But who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, we don't know. But so in the meantime, you are going to be telling a story on Bodies of Stories number 4, which is in April, on April 5th. And I met you because you reached out to me on Instagram, I think, or you, like, I'm helping storytelling show producers host their show online because I just started it in January, so a little before everyone. So I had this period of time where I was able to learn all the technical details and stuff, and now I can help people not make the mistakes that I did, etc. So you jumped on my free training. So that's how we met. I'm so happy. And so
I met you just because of the power of social media. Someone on Instagram that I reached out to told me about you. The Jillian from Calgary.
Yeah. Jillian.
Yeah. And thank you so much for doing this. I think this is so awesome. And doing virtual storytelling shows, I mean, that might be the wave of the future.
Yeah, I think once the situation, once we can go out again, it's going to be necessary to have storytelling shows. Like, people, like you said, want to feel the energy. I know I'm going to stay online just because that's the way I started it. So because my thing was to give a voice to people who don't have access to storytelling shows, and to give access to this art form to people who don't have access to the storytelling shows, either because they don't live in a city where there are shows, or they are just stuck at home for some reason. Some are disabled, some are whatever the reason. And so, yeah, for that, online is good. And then if people can go, like, I'm gonna keep going to live shows because I love it, and I like talking to people. I like walking up to people after the show saying thank you so much for your story, or which I'm trying to replicate with my show, where I really give people the opportunity to reach out to the storytellers both during the show and after the show.
That's
if they
so
need to,
great.
because sometimes.
See, can I just say, that is such a cool thing that we don't have in a live show. The fact that the storyteller, that you can send a little chat message while the storyteller is talking, and they can look at it after their story is over and get the warm fuzzies. That's such a great idea.
So it's pros and, like, not cons, but like it's good.
Yeah, somebody could have a bad comment, I guess, but hopefully, you know, you tell the audience, hey, if you have something kind and nice and sweet to say, share it. If you have a criticism, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's been so lovely. Thank you for talking to me. I really enjoyed this series where I talk to producers about their craft, and I will see you soon.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you so much, Brune. You're so wonderful for doing this. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Bye.